Alright, so, as people in chat are observing, this is mostly a standard legal deck. I added a couple of Slither Blades to drag the curve down because I didn't really have another 2-drop I wanted to play in standard. We were playing some random flyer, and I think this is probably better than a random flyer. And I added some Watery Graves to the mana base for easy extra fixing. Lets me cut Fabled Passages and Temples. And then I've got some Gontis in the sideboard here for the control matchup. But the deck is pretty much standard legal. There's some other historic legal rogues, but I don't think any of them really play into what this deck is looking to do well. So this deck is, for people that haven't seen us play this in standard, it's primarily a flying deck. So we've got Soaring Thought-Thief here as a way to... give things extra attack. And then we've got lots of evasive threats here to close games out with. Hey, Minnie, thanks for the tip. I appreciate it. We'll get that bumped up onto big right after I'm done tonight. So let's go ahead and dive on into here with this. One thing I will say is that something people often undervalue is that the power level gain of making your mana better and more consistent, especially in an aggressive deck, shouldn't be understated. So even though the spells in this deck are largely the same as standard, the fact that we're gaining Watery Grave is a meaningful increase in terms of power level. Why would I play Bojuka Bog? Why is that a good inclusion? What problem does my deck have that's solved by making that change? It is Android. That's fun. Oh gosh. Milling this deck probably isn't a good idea. Android, for people that aren't familiar, is one of my buddies who I used to play a bunch of paper magic with. He's the one that manages he does the time shifted feature matches for us for the Hoaglandia Opens. It's one of our staff of 5, our incredibly large staff of 5. Stream Decker, thanks. Try and give this one a fair shake, Whiskey Dingo. So, they have a flying threat here. I think I want to just Nighthawk Scavenger. It's a 5-3 already. This will trigger this, which will let it turn into a 3-2. What happened with Red, White, Nahiri? They lame duck standard this afternoon. I just didn't feel like playing more against a bunch of Uro piles if they're going to get banned. No, they do not, Hermq. Yeah, it's above rate, you could say. Any thoughts on whether or not check lands are better than flip lands in 2-color decks? It depends. I think in aggro decks, the pathways are much better. See, chat, he can't beat Nighthawk Scavenger. Nailed it. Alright, so this feels like an all Doom Blades on deck matchup. Looks like they're playing something aggressive. Eliminates in, Murderous Riders in. They're not playing, it doesn't look like Dreadhorde Arcanist. I guess they could still theoretically have Kroxa. Rankle's probably kind of medium. They have flying blockers. This is kind of expensive. I've seen that message before. It happens when you go to blocks and they've conceded. You want Cage because of Luris? No, I think we just kill Luris. Do I want Gonti over Rankle? Let's try that. Can grind a little bit. Yeah, they're playing Grixis Wizards. So, Andrew's one of my buddies. We're in a Discord server together. He was talking about this deck he was working on. Sure. 5 land, 4 spell hand. You're cheating on your own Discord server. Yes, believe it or not, I am in a smaller private Discord server in addition to the Hoaglandia one. Alright, are we taking this out back and drowning it in the Loch? I feel like we are. Feel like we are. How many discards am I in/use? I use... Let's say I use 2.5 Discord servers, like maybe 3 if you count 2 halves. I'm in a ton of Discord servers, though. I have a bunch of them in folders that I like poke into on occasion. A lot of places use Discord for like support help too. So like I'm in servers that like I only poke into when I have a problem with something. Thieves Guild Enforcer, something I'm into. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'm in a bunch, but like it's not a big deal to just like mute and hide them. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 8 Discord servers right now that are not hidden in subfolders because I click into them with some consistency, so I have them on the top level. And then I have like another 12.5 that are sorted into various folders that I don't really use. Well, you can't put folders inside of folders. You can put folders in general. When you're on the desktop client, Jin, just drag and drop one Discord server icon onto another and it'll automatically make a folder. Super, super easy. Alright, do I bounce this now to play around a counterspell? I think the answer is yes. It means they can redeploy it and get some counters on it pre-combat, but I think just like getting it guaranteed off the board when it's a 4/4 is really reasonable here. Thieves Guild Enforcer gets Death Touch in addition to 2/1, so I can flash this in and kill the Chandler here, hopefully. So definitely playing this. Think I'm just playing Glasspool tapped and then passing. Maybe I'm supposed to play this tapped and plan to Glasspool my Borrower next turn. This is still in their companion zone, so a little slow here on that for them. Eliminate. Eliminate. Rats. This is unfortunate because I have to chump block with Brazen Borrower now. We can awakening back here, yeah. Think I want to just do this, though. They don't have another haster in here. I think I'm supposed to do this and attack them for 4. Milled them into another dragon. Am I supposed to try and find a piece of removal here? I think I am. Let's take that right out back and drown it in the Loch, chat, huh? They have 30 cards in their deck. They're not getting milled out. Milling out is not how we win. I suppose they cast Arcanist here, and then we're dead to Arcanist flashing back Pillar of Flame. Is a real thing. Is red, white, a Dumpster Fire? Yeah, standard's a Dumpster Fire. Guess probably a more apt takeaway. Well, shoot. Whoopsie poopsie. I'm happy that I boarded. I would be incredibly disappointed if Wizards banned Omnath, so it's definitely not off the table if that's something they could do. Yeah, I think monetary incentives line up against them banning Omnath, so that's actually a good thing, I think. Do not think Omnath is a card that should be getting banned. I think it's more than fine. Reckless Airstrike. Sure. Sure, Klets. As you will. And the 0 chance anything from Zendikar gets banned to me. I think that's likely. Smart money's on that. So they are 2 cards off of making this a 5-3 with Menace. I mean, does it? Like, I feel like people, generally speaking, overestimate... Generally speaking, I think Magic players overestimate how much impact competitive tournament players have on Magic as a whole. I mean, competitive players indirectly buy booster packs. Like, they buy singles and shops open booster packs to acquire those singles, but they definitely don't generate the bulk of sales. Like, not even close. Like, competitive players that don't understand why Magic exists in a successful game often equate their standard deck being expensive with their type of player being the most profitable for Wizards, when that's not true. The reason why Magic's existed for so long is because it is a game that appeals to a wide range of people and has a strong casual base. Competitive tournament Magic and the health of those formats has never been the driving thing to keep Magic alive for 20, 25 years. Not even just EDH. Like, EDH is the closest thing to a structured, like, casual format, but, like, yeah, like, they're just playing cards I own formats. It's basic, for lack of a better term, is what they play. Do we really just play this with not getting anything back? That seems loose. Yeah, kitchen table Magic is an accurate term. As someone who played kitchen table Magic for a decade, I am intimately familiar with kitchen table Magic. I actually think 50% of Magic sales being kitchen table is probably on the low side. I would bet. Although I guess maybe not at this point if you count digital in. Digital is probably a pretty strong revenue driver if I had to imagine. Alright, I'm gonna offer to trade my 1/1 flyer for their 1/1 flyer. Tradesies. Yeah, I agree, Aaron. I think in the world of Arena in which we are living, Wizards is just more painfully obvious of the direct impact their inability to create balanced formats has on people desire to play those formats. You imagine a huge percentage of digital players on Arena are just playing digital kitchen table. You think so? It's kind of hard to do kitchen table on Arena, right? There really isn't a queue for that. Casual best of one, sure, but I mean, I'm told that, like, I don't, like, it's anecdotal, but I'm told that people, even in the unranked queue, tend to often be playing decks that could be classified as competitive. I don't have any empirical evidence to back that up, but anecdotally, that's what I've been told by many people. Which, again, that's pretty far and away from what the type of experience I'm describing a lot of people play paper Magic as. The Scavengers are here, chat, and they are hungry. This card's the real deal. No blocks. Yeah, we played Neoform Combo this morning. As always, you can find all of the decks that I played on my YouTube channel. That's fine. The build we played was only okay. We tried to shoehorn it into like a tempo shell. I don't know if the tempo shell fit very well. So they have land, creature, instant sorcery. I'm probably not going to mill a new card type with this, so I'm just going to go ahead and let this happen. This Enforcer again has Death Touch. Nice. Nice resource variance. I don't always BM, but when I do, it's because I know the person I'm playing against. So, there's technically an algorithm Wellborn Muse that pairs in the unranked queue based on the number of rares and mythics in your deck, but number of rares and mythics isn't really a good deck strength measurement. It's probably better than nothing, but it's like really far from perfect. There are a lot of garbage tier mythic and rare cards in Magic. So the problem, Violet Journey, is that it's hard to regulate anything like that in the digital environment. People always have varying ideas of like what casual means. I think I'm supposed to mulligan this hand. It just doesn't really do anything for a while. The Drown in the Loch says 2 in its corner, but I don't have any way to enable it by milling them, so I think we mulligan here. This is fine with the Glasspool Mimic, right? Rogues finally won something. Don't be salty just because our bad tribal deck is better than your bad tribal deck, Andrew. Hey Brian, thanks for the biddies. Yeah, we're doing all right. Global pandemics aside, we are a-okay here. Yeah, like there's always some amount of people that like are going to basically try to farm whatever you give them to farm. I dropped a little bit of frames on my end a little bit ago, but shouldn't have been too much. Well, they're gonna have a lot of choices. Really seeing the downside of that self-mill theme. There's just so many decks that utilize their graveyard as a resource. Claim the Firstborn, also incredibly, like I wrote about in my ban list justification. So, like I said, Claim the Firstborn will be banned in the next Hoaglandia Open that is historic. This card makes it super difficult to play small creature decks. Very, very, very hard to play small creature decks in this format. You get chewed up and spit out. Just gonna kill this now. The modified historic link there in chat to the blog post. It's also linked from the event on MTG Melee. If you click the modified historic link. So we'll be banning Uro, Muxus, and Claim the Firstborn. They are. Their artwork is gorgeous. Agree on that. The power level of the duels also feels quite perfect. So something that's very good with Dreadhorde Arcanist here for people that aren't familiar. With Dreadhorde Arcanist, you can flash back Blood Chief's Thirst and pay the kicker to kill anything. Hey, Cowboy Exquisite, thanks for the sub gift. Good evening. Should be running Cage in the main deck. I think if you think Historic is in a place where Cage is a main deck card, you just shouldn't play this deck. Which there's a chance that it is and you shouldn't, but rather, you could pay Kicker off a Dreadhorde, correct, that is what I just said. So rather than put a card that shouldn't need to be in your main deck into your main deck, you should probably just play something else. Alright, Nighthawk Scavenger, can you drag me kicking and screaming across the finish line? Skyclave Shade's a sweet one in the opponent's archetype. No. The answer to that question is no, for anybody that was wondering. Let's do the cantrip again. Thanks, Cowboy. So, basically need to draw another Nighthawk, but even then, with the Luris, it's probably a lost cause. Oh, yeah, I have Coxatube. Yeah, X. Honestly, Village Rites versus Glimpse the Beyond in Runeterra is a good example of how interactable the two different games tend to be. Definitely a Cage matchup, definitely an extra removal spell matchup. Lofty Denial seems bad. Rankle making them sacrifice seems mediocre. I want Gonti. Gonti's kind of a grindy card. Feels like kind of a grindy matchup. This probably doesn't attack on the ground too often. Nato, thanks for the 18 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for all the great content. Enjoying the new schedule. Looks like I can catch live streams from Australia. Awesome. Yeah, we've had a number of... Is Aussie an appropriate term for people from Australia? I want to make sure we're not using something that I shouldn't be. Australians is probably a-okay. That have mentioned that the schedule is much better for them. Because Australia is... Aussie, like with a Z. Alright, well, with that Thoughtseize, we'll be playing Thieves Golden Foster this turn. That's probably worse than a random. Because it's Australia, depending on where you are. How many time zones are in Australia? Is it a couple? It's usually 12 to 13 hours ahead of me, I believe. Yeah, I've got Remorse over Thoughtseize for the Uro decks, just because Uro is that, like, they get to escape Uro endlessly, so I left that change. You like the part where they Thoughtseize my land, chat? Magic's great. At least we drew another one. Three time zones? 4 time zones? Eliminate. We'll see if the card advantage from Gonti can drag us kicking and screaming across the finish line here or not. A lot of cards in hand. I'll take the Thoughtseize. The Swarm is hungry, chat. Mr. 3000 the movie. Thanks for the sub gifty. I appreciate that. Good evening to you. Let's get my hand empty as quick as possible here, huh? Need to do this, which makes us a 4-1. Draw into the Loch was a good draw. Get on the scoreboard here, at least it's looking like. Oh, this card is so offensive, chat. It's so incredibly just. It's a good ban. I am happy with that ban. I think banning that card opens up a lot of decks that are just not as competitive in this format right now. Any small creature deck basically just gets hosed by Claim. Hold on, folks. They're going to do it again. We've run into a number of people playing main deck Cage in recent days. I don't think it's entirely unreasonable. Please be dead. How do I feel about Mythgard? Its core gameplay is fine. Its card acquisition model feels kind of bad. I don't know. After experiencing we're just dead. We're just dead to the Crocs of Triggers. After experiencing Runeterra, like, it's tough. It's really tough to stomach justifying engaging in any arena or Hearthstone style things. Like, I don't know. If Magic wasn't my job, I'd probably just play Runeterra at this point. Like, the new set's fine, and, like, some of the games have been fun, but, like, I don't feel good. The arena economy is miserable, and economies similar to it are also kind of miserable. The idea that you can't just give them money and get the thing you want for the money you spending sucks. I really need to figure out what is up with my connection in the evenings. I keep randomly getting connection spikes. Maybe I'll adjust my bit rate. I don't know if I can do that live. Well, I can. Alright, let's try and throttle that down and see if that helps. Yeah, it could be on Twitch servers end too. I'm sure their servers get hit more in the evenings too. So I have a fiber internet connection, which in theory shouldn't have fluctuations in bandwidth capacity based on usage in the area, because it's a dedicated line. Is there a variety segment this evening that's not on the schedule? Maybe. It's going to depend on how historic goes. Standard end is kind of quickly, so I might sneak one in. I might sneak one in. window, get some fresh air. I'm gonna do Runeterra in the evening next week, Dimente. Yeah, I feel like so, and this is where I have a little bit of empathy from the Magic devs perspective, is that like seeing how people talk about like formats in Runeterra, like when they're very reasonable and good in my opinion, like have lots of choices and lots of deck building things you can do, like the idea that Magic players and card game players will just complain about anything is basically the truth. So like cutting through the signal to noise ratio for these companies is definitely not easy. That being said, it is their job to be able to do that, so they should do their job better. I think I'm holding up Lofty Denial here, because I think they're likely to play a big 3-drop to try and grow these. How do I compare the Moto and Arena economies? Well, I mean, I've also been vocal about that. Like, the secondary markets suck. So, like, I am explicitly not a fan of... I'm not a fan of Magic Online's economy, and I'm not a fan of the paper economy. Artificial scarcity to acquire objects to play a game is nonsense. There's no reason fetch lands should cost what they cost, etc. Like... I think the staggered release of the most recent set is fine. As someone who, like, plays card games for a living, I think attempting the staggered release like Runeterra is doing is actually very smart, because interest and engagement from players tends to drop off at like 6 to 8 weeks, so planning to inject new cards into your game every 6 to 8 weeks is definitely smart as someone who works in the industry. I'm trading with Pelt Collector here. This thing's gonna get bigger. I don't think we're really in a position to race at the moment. I think we just kill that. I'm already in my waiting for Kaladesh remaster. Well, I mean, that's because that, like, there's a reason why Wizards just posted a lame duck format announcement today. Like, the current standard format can't possibly be doing well. Their metrics must be way down or way under what they expected based on the fact that they did that. No, the arena economy is still better than paper, but it's still not good. I'm not one of those people that will praise something. I'm not someone that will praise something and say, well, this is fine just because it's better than these other crappy options. I want things to actually be good. Don't ask me to sniff a pile of dog poop and a pile of vomit and make me tell you which one smells good. The answer is neither of them smell good. Please stop it and try again. I'm just hitting them for 4 here. We'll play Soaring Thought-Thief and smack them with this. Then we can, like, tempo something with Brazen Borrower. Am I gonna keep up with Runeterra's esports scene? I mean, I'll probably follow along and, like, watch the events. I don't know. I'm an old man who plays games for fun mostly these days. So, I might play in some things surrounding it depending on what their qualification systems look like, but I don't think it'll be anything that I, like, grind incessantly for and obsess over. One of those things where, like, if it happens and we qualify for things, we'll play them. But if we don't, I'm also not going to worry about it. Yeah, the SCG days are over. Yeah. But I mean, like, if Runeterra decided to have, like, open entry tournaments, I'd probably play in those like I'd play in them for Magic. You play games because we throw dollars. I mean, that's part of it too, for sure. That's not as strictly true anymore, though. Like, the variety segments I've been doing in the evening are largely because I just like them. Like, Portal 2, Morrowind, Horizon Zero Dawn are all variety games I've been playing, and, like, people paid for the first session, but I was just like, these games are fun, let's keep playing them. I think I'm okay. I'm okay trading these. In a post-COVID world, you hypothetically play SCG Bloomington? Yeah, definitely. I'd probably travel to Indy to play an SCG in a post-COVID world, you know, 2 years from now. I like traveling. Traveling on occasion is still fun. How much is it for a variety game segment? $50 plus the cost of whatever it is to buy the game. With the asterisk, like asterisk for decks, I don't take all games. I reserve the right to refuse anything. Submit it using the forum on my site, and I'll let you know. Yeah, Portal's just like a really sweet game, right? Like, there's a reason why that one has the history it does. What does this thing do? Where'd the card go? It went exiled. Your target creature get X exiled or X is power. Alright, sure. I did nix Among Us. To play Among Us well, you need to be on voice with people. And having random people on voice on my stream isn't great. And, like, coordinating a bunch of people playing together sounds like a hassle. I think I'm going to go ahead and play Brazen Borrower here. Because if I draw a Soaring Thought-Thief or a clone, I kill them. I also like, if I'm being honest, I'm not huge on social deduction games in general. Playing games like that are purely about reading people means that they change drastically. The game strategy in them varies too much, and it's hard to optimize in a way that I find tedious and largely unfun. There's a board game called Werewolf that's very popular. That's played in very large groups at Gen Con every year. Yeah, and it's basically a digital version of that. I think people used to play with deck cards. Yeah, exactly. See, you get it. Winning game 1 here seems huge. Post-board, we get to bring in a bunch of removal. Gonti here is excellent post-board because it has Death Touch and it draws a card off of their deck. What are we cutting? Lofty Denial seems bad on the draw. Need to cut a Forev. Trim a couple of Rankle and a couple of Slither Blades. It's a little slow, and I'm bringing in 2 other Forevs, so I want to keep my curve similar here. One of the things you'll see me frequently do when I'm sideboarding too, and we talked about this a little bit at the Open on Saturday, actually, when I saw people are sideboarding like this. I always sideboard like this, and you'll note that I do things like I put Agedom in my land pile, and I put Brazen Borrower in with my 2s. This lets me visualize my curve and where I expect the cards to fill in while sideboarding to make sure, as I'm making edits, that my curve is staying similar, because especially in an aggressive deck where you're looking to curve out nicely, it's very easy post-board to, like, board in a way that you don't have a lot of things to do in a certain slot. Well, this is a 3-land, 7-spell hand, right? So we'll keep. Supposed to Awakening on one there, actually. That card's so good against us. That one's gotta go, chat. I'm gonna kill it now with Eliminate, because sometimes these decks play Ranger's Guile to protect it. Fun fact, there has been an 18,061% increase in absentee ballots requested in Pennsylvania over 2016. Could possibly be why the GOP trying to kill the post office. You think? I think we're again just killing this with fire. Have you liked the new mechanics so far? The new spell land flip cards are the best thing to happen to Magic the Gathering since I started playing the game. They are very, very good and sweet. They make the game markedly better, which naturally means there are a ton of Magic boomers who hate them and think they should not exist. I mean, to be fair, a number of them aren't mythic that are very good. Like, I'm playing 12 of the flip cards in this deck, and only, I'm playing 12 of them in this deck, and not only 4 of them are mythic. Saffron Olive might be one of the many Magic boomers I'm referring to in that instance, yes. And this can't currently block, right? So I think I'm attacking with the Thieves Guild Enforcer here, just hitting them for 9. Like if you wanna trade these here, that's good for me. Don't get me wrong, the mythic ones are excellent. But there's definitely more than just the mythic ones that are playable. What's their argument against these lands? There are people, largely Magic boomers, who actually enjoy games of Magic happening where their opponent literally doesn't take any meaningful game actions and die. I also think a lot of Saffron Olive's takes are born from a bias in that his content largely depends on the ability for bad decks to win games of Magic. And things like the spell land flip cards and other changes to Magic that make games more consistent mean that when your deck is unplayable, it's more pronounced that your deck is unplayable because you no longer get 35% free wins from your opponent doing nothing and dying. Now you only get, 25 or 15% or whatever the number is. Every time you remove non-games of Magic, decks that suck more because now they can't win games based on their opponent's deck not doing anything. Brackendor, thank you for the half a year support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. All right, so I can attack for 9 here, put them to 5. I go up to 12. This is 9 here in play. So I probably don't want to attack with this, huh? I think we just attack with these two. So that way we can jump with this. Primal Might potentially kills us here. But if they Primal Might our Windrobber, we sack it, draw a card, and could hit something. Okay, that's got trample. Bye, friend. Releasing some of the power in this game here of what this archetype can do versus something like what Mono Blue Tempo does. Like, we were in that game because of the real removal that we had. Whereas, like, Mono Blue Tempo, once your opponents get on the board, you just can't catch back up usually. Yeah, before HA4, so they rolled back on releasing Pioneer Masters before the end of the year, but we're going to get Kaladesh remastered now, and hopefully Kaladesh remastered is going to include a bunch of the Masterpiece cards, similar to a historic anthology. I really hope, dear Wizards, if you want to surprise us in a good way as a show of good faith, please put all 10 Fastlands in Kaladesh remastered. Those are cards that people would love to give you a ton of rare wild cards for. It would make a lot of people very excited to have good aggro mana in this format. Demir619, thank you for the 5 months. Welcome back. And there's like a monetary reason for that to be a thing, right? Like, there's definitely a real monetary incentive for them to put those cards into this format. What's a fast land? Botanical Sanctum. Blackcleave Cliffs. Look up one of those. You can also just Google search Magic Fastland. This is a 3/3 already. Rude. The fast lands, would I rather have fast lands or pain lands? Fast lands not close. This thing is still really far away from having another point of power. My plan to draw a blue source this game did not come to fruition, chat. They do count themselves. So fast lands come into play untapped on turns 1, 2, and 3. I think I'm going to concede before showing them the Glasspool Mimic. Opponent can probably assume what we're playing, but I don't think we're winning there. I'd rather try and hide some information in a board like we did against the last mono green player. Pretty decent variety in the historic view so far tonight. Mono green's the only thing we've hit twice, and honestly, I really like the games that these creature aggressive decks generate a lot of the time on average. The only thing that's kind of felt bad to play against so far tonight in this historic set was let's claim the firstborn. Kinda sucks. They put Ensnaring Bridge in historic. Good lord, not that one. I think Arcbound Ravager would be sweet though. I think that's a card that's an appropriate power level for this format. Stop it with the Mox Opal. That card's not okay. Arcbound Ravager, though. Sign me up for Arcbound Ravager. Orm Coil. Coil's probably okay. 6 mana is a lot of mana. Nah, I think the line on like things that are too strong at like six mana is a ton of mana, chat. Alright, so this is gonna be one of those games where we just like play flying rogue lords for 4 or 5 turns in a row. So next turn we're gonna Glasspool Mimic a Thought-Thief and then attack for 6. Please no Harpooner, please no Harpooner, please no Harpooner. Is that lethal next turn? So Thought-Thieves attack for 8 here. And then this is lethal next turn, right? Be 6, 7, 8. Yeah, okay. So these mills happen. These will be 4/3s. They go to 11. We can block with this, and then Rankle hits for 5, and these hit for 6. Rankle technically hits for 6 because it can draw and lose 1. Brick, 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 brick. I should trade because if they have a trick, we're dead anyways. I think I trade and then Rankle, right? Yeah, they gave me cute sticker emotes. Those of you taking notes at home, you'll note we very skillfully milled over a Curl Harpooner on the previous turn, denying our opponent access to it. So you wanna practice doing things like that. Practice. This is fine. Do a Windrobber on 1 and start milling them to enable drown. We'll probably go tap land on 2, Scavenger on 3, and then we can drown on 4. Perhaps play another Scavenger. Don't play Land War Elves. Rats. This card heavily skews play draw in this game. 1 mana acceleration is very, very good. This archetype's gonna get a lot better when it's gonna get a lot better when it has 8 elves. Because Elvish Mystic's gonna get printed from Pioneer. Am I Brazen Borrowing this turn? I think so. This means I can't Nighthawk next turn is the issue now. Because both of these lands are tapped. Imagine if this is Dark Slick Shores here. Just so much better off. Pelt Collector at least gives us a target to drown in the Loch that we don't feel terrible about. Huh? Come in for that. I'm gonna again play this at sorcery speed to play around Ranger's Guile. Killing that sooner also plays around Gulta a little bit because it takes the power off the board. Opponent might be out of gas. Our turn passed very quickly there. Suppose they could be holding things like Ram through or Gulta. Wow, this is good. Really glad we kept the Brazen Borrower, huh? Untapped land. Nailed it. Scavenger is very, very good. You are not wrong. If this is a blank, the game's probably over. If this lets them replay Gulta, we're probably dead. I guess I have a second Scavenger, so maybe that's not strictly true. Evening, Mr. Gregatron. Hanging out, playing some Historic. Coming in about halfway. We've been up for got a fight spell here. That's super unfortunate. Alright, I'm gonna sack this to draw a card, I think. So we need to find a way to kill this, ideally, just to make sure the Gulta's not happening. It's not terrible. Play Glasspool Mimic down as a land here, so I have 6 mana. So this currently costs them 9. So it costs them 8. Sorry, they have 4 power. I don't know what that means, Gregatron. I don't know what Scout Team refers to.
I love everything from deer to dinosaurs.
Yeah, using the form's fine, turn.
I'd get out of the way if I were you.
We just block here. Nah, I don't think so. This Glasspool Mimic represents another Brazen Borrower. Pretty sure I take a turn off to kill their Vivian here. Yeah, I think, like, if the Gulta doesn't happen... I don't think we lose this game. And, like, if they save their Vivian here, the Landwar Elf is gone, and they're even further from their Gulta. So likely. And, like, I get to play Glasspool. No, stop trying to draw cards, chat. This copies Brazen Borrower, and now I have 9 power in the air setup here. So we took their Planeswalker out, and we set up lethal for the following turn still. Mono green matchup seems pretty okay. Or 2-0 against it tonight. I feel like decks like what we're playing tend to line up well in this style of matchup a lot of the time. We have a lot of cheap disruption and evasive threats to go over the top of them. And to answer your question about Mayor Pete taking the Pence role, I'm not sure he's up to being that dumb. I think that's probably fine. I think so. One of the things that I think progressives do too often, and people on the left, is that insulting the intelligence of people like Pence and Trump is appealing. Whoa, Day9 TV with the absurd host. Thank you for that. Hope you had a great stream. I appreciate that. Hanging out playing some Historic this evening. Ported some blue-black rogues over. Is a big host. Sorry, what was our train of thought? Calling people like Pence and Trump stupid is often appealing, but I feel like it does a disservice in general because it kind of gives them like a scapegoat to like say, oh, they're not evil, they're just dumb. Like the reality is like, yeah, like Trump's a narcissist, he's probably a sociopath, but like it's very unlikely that he's stupid, right? Like these people know what they're doing. Don't give them the cover of, oh, they're just dumb and they don't know better. The people that are new from Day Night channel, if you're gonna hang out, I am unapologetically liberal. We play Magic, we play all sorts of wonderful games here, but we do discuss politics as one of the topics kind of casually. Definitely keeping 6 here. I think we're bottoming Glasspool Mimic. We have a pretty good 1-2-3 curve here, right? We get to go boom, boom, boom. Boom, boom, boom. Do-do-do. So this has flash, but I want to mill my opponent sooner, and this triggers when we attack with the rogue. So I'm going to play this now and attack and mill them, so we can try and get these powered up ASAP. Hey there, Bray. Thank you for the Prime support. I appreciate the 7 months. Welcome back. So they're at 6 cards in bin already. So like turn 3, we're going to be attacking with this for 2 and this for 4. And we're going to get to play some scavengers out that are going to be 5 power dorks. Which is pretty good aggressive draw here. No, it definitely increased the volume if you weren't paying attention. Of course, Minnie. Always happy to deliver a timeout. So, they're obviously in love with the Coco here. I think we just attack anyways, right? So, this has Death Touch, so like whatever they get, we'll be trading. They have some interesting ones. Mammoth seems like a sweet card to include in their deck. Tangle Florahedron too. Just like these collected company hits that are also land seem excellent. How is that not dumb? That's just evil. Grafdigger's Cage, obviously great here. Definitely a... Maybe I don't want the Murderous Riders, actually, because of all their sacrifice effects. The value on the adventure removal spells go down when your opponent can sacrifice their stuff in response. Definitely a cage matchup. I think I'd rather have Eliminate than Denial, especially on the draw. Brazen Borrower is okay here, but the fact that they're a Mayhem Devil deck makes the X one a bit of a liability, so I think I'm going to trim those. Would I rather have Gonti over the other two Brazen Borrowers? I think I might, actually. The one toughness on this is a pretty big liability. Yeah, the Petty Theft is also not stellar because of their ways to sacrifice things as well, similar to Murderous Rider. Hey, Lightning, thanks for the tip. I appreciate the support. To add 4 colorless for the colorless historic deck with Forsaken Monument Steel Overseer. Sounds good. I will get that added into our deck queue to get built. We're actually going to be doing a little bit more historic this week. So Wizards announced today, for those that missed it, that there's going to be a standard ban list update next week early on. So I'm going to be cutting standard from the rest of my schedule for the week and replacing it with more historic. We have a bunch of historic decks in the queue waiting to be played. Yeah, seems good. We're gonna again have Enforcer into Thief here, which is great. Chances they actually remove Uro. I feel like it's high. That Uro goes away this time. I'll offer this trade, because if they trade here, they can't collect a company next turn. Thanks for the 14 months to Osby. I appreciate it. Welcome back. Unless they decide rogues are the problem. Alright, who are we drowning? It's gotta be Mayhem Devil, right? I feel like it's gotta be Mayhem Devil. I think these lands are my favorite duels they've ever printed. They give you choices to make, which adds for an interesting amount of player agency. And the fact that they only provide one color at a time means that they're good fixing in a way so you're often not color screwed, but you also can't just play a pile of colors in your deck, which is excellent as well. Yes, we did have someone donate for the pretty versions. Brick. This card probably got a lot more consistent since they get to play some lands. Alright, so we're super dead now. Got it. Got it. Good. Hey, Sir Calbino, thanks for the half year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I'm happy with how I boarded. Maybe Lofty Denial's a little bit better when I'm on the play. I can see that. And trim these Gontis. Let's do that. Braveheart Lion, thanks for the 10 months. Welcome back. Alright, so this is a 2-lander, right? Okay. Now, one thing unfortunate about this current hand is that I don't have a way to enable Drown in the Loch currently, but hopefully we'll draw one of those. Hey, Bird IA, thank you for the brand new Prime support. I I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. For new viewers too, by the way, if you're not familiar, I run a monthly, actually we're going to be increasing it to twice a month, Magic tournament here. The upcoming one is going to be historic, so if you enjoy this format and you're interested in playing in a tournament, be sure to check that out. We're going to be doing a little bit of a modified historic format. We're going to be house banning a couple of cards. We're going to ban Uro, Muxus, and Claim the Firstborn. But that tournament has full coverage every month. We do it up professional-like with, just like you see at the Mythic Invitational, but we have, like, a lot less downtime than you see at the Mythic Invitational. We're definitely both discarding. I think that's it. Maybe I'm drawing two, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna draw two. A lot of their cards are dead with Grafdigger's Cage. How do you enter the tournament? You just sign up on the MTG Melee page. So, one thing that's important to note for folks that haven't played in our tournaments before, there are 3 requirements. You need to be subscribed to my channel, you have to pay the entry fee, and your computer has to be capable of broadcasting your matches to Discord. So, Arena does not have an official spectator mode, so the way in which we're able to provide full coverage is that upon request, players need to be able to share their screen on Discord. So that is one thing. If you haven't played in the events before and you're looking to, you'll want to make sure your computer is capable of screen sharing, because there's a little bit more, no, just using Discord. So you don't need to set up a full Twitch stream or anything like that. Going live in Discord is super easy and straightforward. I'm just drowning the skews here. Oh no! Oh, fuck! Oh, I messed up. We're gonna lose because of it too. Oh, they missed it! There's only 2 cards in their graveyard. They missed it. So I should have attacked first to trigger Soaring Thought-Thief, but this card checks on resolution and when you put it on the stack. So if they would have scoozed, this makes a green mana, if they would have scoozed their graveyard there, their thing would have lived. Sometimes you play soccer instead of Magic and you punt the ball back and forth. I think I'm going to put this into play tapped as a land and then make them discard with Rankle here. Do I make us sacrifice creatures? I don't hate that. We're definitely discarding. Making them draw puts them to 7. I don't think I want to draw here. If they hit Mayhem Devil, I get pretty got. Yeah, I think I'm just discarding here. Next turn, this is going to be active. We have Cage shutting down Collected Company, and then that's why they're not using the cat with the oven. Claim the Firstborn's a little rough. Yeah, I'm supposed to leave this back as a blocker. Alright, so I'll put this on the stack. And then in response to discarding, we'll play this so we don't discard. We'll get their last card. They're up to 7. When is the next tournament? October 3rd. So it's Saturday in about a week and a half.
Your corpse will make a nice souvenir.
Man, their hits have been good.
Today's your lucky day.
Yeah, Vraska's probably up there in terms of best possible draws. It's not a terrible one for us. Zombies go nom nom. Thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Okay, so we can stabilize the board here a little bit. So that happens. And then we look dead on board here too, right? So like, if they draw a brick, they might push. And then this Thieves Guild Enforcer means we don't die and we get good trades. Four years or one dysfunctional term. Thanks for the 48 months, Chad. I appreciate it. Welcome back. It's a long time. Okay. And remember, even if this is a land, cage means they can't escape. So I should attack with both of my things and just sacrifice so we're not dead to removal, right? And then Rankle hitting them next turn kills them. So we just need one brick out of them, which naturally means the top card of their deck will be Mayhem Devil. Rankle is very good. I lovingly refer to Rankle as the fairy dragon. They can make a food and stay alive, that's true. Well, glass half full, my opponent missed lethal. They could have made me sacrifice this, hit me for one, and then looped the cat to kill me with the oven. So we'll see if them punting, if we can get out of it or not. Rats. Experience by design, chat. Experience by design. Let's do one more. That's been fun. There is no justice in Oglandia, that is true. Very, very, very little justice. Waiting. Do 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 do. Wish I had an untapped land, an untapped land, an untapped land. I think we're going to lead on Watery Grave here, and we'll Thieves Guild Enforcer on 1, and then if we don't peel an untapped land on 2, we can go tapped land into Slither Blade. I think not killing the cage the first time was fine. I liked how they got aggressive with their Vraska, but obviously just punting on board lethal and not killing it the second time with Rampage was wrong. The Flash, thank you for the 7 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. All right, let's mill our opponent into some Uros, chat. Someone else had been asking about Lotus Cobras and Omnaths in Historics. Let's see what the opponents got whipped up here. Alright, I think we're going to take the snake out back and drown it in the Loch, chat. And drowning the snake in the Loch can be a euphemism for whatever you want in your head, but this is largely a family-friendly stream, so keep your head out of the gutter. I did RM Lighting. If you would like to read my justifications for the cards that I decided to ban in Historic for our tournament, and what I'm hoping to achieve with those bannings, you can read it on my website there. Alright, so we're definitely playing Slither Blade. The question is, am I Nighthawking or am I Glasspooling? If I Glasspool the Soaring Thought-Thief, I crack them for 8 this turn and put them to 8. However, this is a lot more damage next turn, right? I think this is better. Put them for 6 this turn, and this will be an extra 6 next turn. Yeah, if they spend their next turn escaping Uro, they go up to 13, and then my attack with everything after this copies the Thought-Thief will be 6, 12, and then they'll have to trade with the Thieves Guild Enforcer. So, one of the things I'm doing with my bannings, and this is something I wish Wizards would try to do more, because I feel like they don't a lot of the time, is I'm not banning a card. The claim ban is not banning a card purely based on power level, but I'm trying to ban a card because I think what it does to the format stifles archetype diversity. So my hope is that in banning that card, it makes other archetypes that tend to struggle to be competitive more competitive, even if claim in and of itself isn't an inherently erroneous card. I think too often people get caught up on the, is this card broken? If no, it's fine, leave it alone. And that shock actually lets us kill them here, right? So we copy the Thought-Thief. And then this is unblockable. Great, this is 12. The greed of the Uro pilot knows no bounds. Yep, didn't play around the second Thought-Thief. Well, and the other thing, too, about those bans that I made is I don't think the sacrifice decks are unplayable without Claim the Firstborn. I think those decks are likely still very reasonable, and I think that's an especially good reason to ban things, is if they stifle things in the format and the card removing it doesn't kill any archetypes, it just makes more things competitive potentially. I think that's again another reason to try removing something. Alright, so this is definitely an Agonizing Remorse matchup to try and exile their Uros. I don't think it's a cage matchup, it only tags Uro. Try a couple of Blackbloom Rogues, because the actual creature on this isn't that great. That being said, I only have 16 actual lands, so I don't think I want to cut more than 2 of my 12 spell lands. Trim Thieves Guild Enforcer, because it doesn't get, the extra mill on this is nice for enabling Thought-Thief and Drown quickly, but she doesn't attack in very profitably most of the time, because they have blockers. Let's try this. It could be right to board and eliminate to have more ways to kill both Uro after it's escaped and Lotus Cobra. So you should note, Bird IA, that the Cool Stuff code is only for singles. So if you're purchasing, they sell board games and stuff too. Maybe this is wrong to keep, it's not super aggressive. They have the hottest singles. Well, that changes our sequencing. So, I told Corey that I planned to do a hot singles bit because he does work with wizards and I didn't want to do something on a stream that he was involved in if he wasn't comfortable with it because it was poking fun at someone that he works with. But I didn't show him what the actual ad looked like and I didn't tell him when I was going to do it. So he knew something was going to happen, but not exactly what. I agree that his reaction was excellent. Made the bit for sure. I think we're just going untapped land, Nighthawk Scavenger, and then we'll go like tapped land, second Scavenger into Rankle the following turn. Yeah, I agree, Mr. Lifeguard. Really good feedback on him overall. What's going on, Zazzy? Good evening. Thank you for the 20 months. Welcome back. Have fun and stay safe out there, Lightning. Ooh, that's a really good draw. Get that sweet untapped land in. I think we're just discarding here, right? Goodbye, friend. I think I'm just saying nothing here. We're just saying done. I think we just pass here at this point, right? I want to play around Anger of the Gods, the second Anger of the Gods. Jim Davis is going to be my second for commentary on October 3rd. Cool stuff. Cool Stuff Inc.'s a great sponsor, and they sponsor a bunch of great other people. And they offered to want to get more involved with the opens. So I believe in paying people for their work. I'm a communist that way. And Cool Stuff Inc. offered to pay the second commentator for me if it's someone else that's one of the people that they sponsored. And Jim had been on my list of people to reach out to at some point anyways, so it works out really well. Well, obviously, our deck's perfect and busted because we 2-0'd the Uro Lotus Cobra deck, chat. I can only say that the empirical evidence we have collected here tonight means that our deck is too strong and something needs to be banned from it on Monday. We will have to clickbait the YouTube video. Thanks everybody that hung out from Day 9's host, by the way. Hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Thanks for checking out the content. I think I'm actually, so I usually play decks for about 90 minutes, and this one, once we're done waiting for the server, we're going to be done with it. But I think I'm going to do one more since we have a good audience in here tonight. play another historic deck before we call it quits. I think I'm happy with this. I don't think I have any changes. Obviously, getting better mana was good. Slither Blade did basically what I wanted to do. I don't think I'd play more of them, but just as, like, curve filler and an evasive threat, it was fine. Like, yeah, seems reasonable. Alright, so, I need to restart my Arena client. I'm gonna tweet that we're changing decks. I had someone send a donation to play some more Big Red, so when we get back in a couple of minutes after an ad break, we're gonna retool this to include some spell lands from the latest set and play some updated Big Red. So we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere. Get this one restarted.